kind to NASCAR drivers at Richmond International Raceway, but not the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. That doesn't stop the Equalizer Bigfoot duel for the world title. And everybody knows nothing scares the grave digger. Welcome to Richmond International Raceway, Monster Truck fans. I'm Scott Douglas. This is the site of some of the finest in NASCAR racing. But today, it's speed and power of another sort as the TNT Monster Truck Challenge invades historic Richmond, Virginia. Today at Richmond, Virginia, the killer walls are going to be a factor. It's a very, very tight course. The walls are right on top of these guys. Who can handle it? That's going to be a big question. And in the Bigfoot camp, Andy Brass was masterful in Louisville. Now John Pyatt is back in the driver's seat. At Richmond, Virginia, a year ago, Gravedigger had a real rough run, one of the toughest all year. Watch him here as Dennis Anderson goes over the wall at the end of the race course. That shows you just how tight and just how hazardous this course can be. Army Armstrong is standing by to talk about the close quarters and the way these guys are going to try and handle it at Richmond International Raceway.
Well, thanks, Scott. We're back in Richmond, Virginia, where, as you well know, last year produced some of the most exciting action we've ever seen. We saw the Equalizer flip end over end on the end of the track. We saw two trucks running at the same time bounce physically out of the track. How do you bounce out of a track? It's very simple. This track is set up on the NASCAR pit road. There are walls on each side of the track. The walls that are a friend of the NASCAR pit crew, they're the enemy to the monster trucks. These walls are intimidating for these monster truck drivers. That's going to bring us up to date on the action from this week in Richmond, Virginia. But right now, I want to talk to you about the last time I had an opportunity to visit on television was the Louisville, Kentucky show. There was an incident that took place at Louisville concerning the kill box and Mike Wine. We're going to have Mike Wine himself tell you what happened at Louisville with that kill box.
Well, we had to go back out. We made it to the final rounds. We won all the way out there. It was me against Foot. It was against Andy. Got into the outside of the pit. We're getting ready, suiting up. They hand you a killer radio to go out, as you know, to kill the truck. I put a radio into position in the truck. It stalled. Took it back out, put another one in. It stalled. So they gave me one, said, just go out on the track. Just get out there. We'll worry about the radios when you get out there. So we got out there, went out, sat up on the line, put the radio box in. When I did, all my gauges kept fluttering on me. They said, gotta go, start the race. 1, 2, 3, lined us up. Me and Andy took off. Ran the track all the way around. As you know, Louisville is a figure 8 course. You got an inside and outside lane. I was on the inside lane. That means I had to be in front of Andy before I got on the other end. If man's going to catch me, you know he is. He's a strong runner. I was 3/4 of the way around the track. I looked over to my right-hand side. All my gauges went dead on me. The motor went dead. I grabbed the box. I kept physically shaking the box back and forth. And as I come up to the cars, I coasted. The motor backfired so many times until I ended up bending the valve. It was a very costly race. Not only first place, but it cost me a motor.
Also, what I'm hearing here is the fact that you feel that TNT is the one that cost you that race by having a malfunctioning box there.
Yeah, I feel it was TNT's fault for having a malfunctioning box. We're going to have to design, me and the owner, Nick Rossi, are going to design a box where when that box itself will sit into a box. So if it ever does come dislocated again or anything at all, it will at least be contained in that unit and keep it from falling off. The rivets actually came apart and fell off.
The need for a killer radio is obvious in this sport because the TNT officials have to be able to shut a truck down should it go out of control. But certainly, Mike Wine very unhappy about the killer radio possibly costing him in Louisville. Qualifying highlights right now as we get ready for racing, and watch Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher almost go over. The flat tire on the back is obvious, and when we look at the replay, you're going to see just how close Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher actually came to not only landing on his roof, but if he would have landed on his roof, look at him. He'd have landed on this short retaining wall at Richmond International Raceway. Right here, he is in trouble. Bang, he almost went over on the wall. Porter gets it back down on all 4 wheels, but has to replace the tire on the back left. A big, big leak. Actually, 2 flat tires on that left side upon closer examination. So Gary Porter with big problems in the Carolina Crusher. Chris Chapman is with us, and she's going over to talk to Gary Porter about the incident.
Gary, pretty rough ride for qualifying. Is everything all right?
I think it will be. I went out and looked the course over before qualifying, and I I adjusted the tire pressure where I thought it, should have been, and I guess my guess was wrong. I dropped my air pressure a little bit, so I'm going to have to put some more in it, so maybe I won't knock the tires off the rims again.
Did it just take those 2 tires? Is that the only problems you had?
Yes, I don't think it busted them. It just knocked them off the rim, broke the bead loose and bent a few shocks, and I think that's it.
We'll let you get back to work.
Okay, thank you.
Seems so unusual to be talking about a problem for the Carolina Crusher because Gary Porter has one of the most consistently strong running trucks in the sport today. And because of that consistency, he'll be back a little bit later. The season points have Bigfoot back on top. Remember, Andy Brass was awesome in Bigfoot 4 at Louisville, but John Pyatt is back driving the truck today. Equalizer is 9 points behind. The Auto Value King Crunch is still a player. Carolina Crusher has drawn a beat on the top 3. Awesome Kong rounds out the top 5. Then it's the USA 1 truck holding on over the Gravedigger. Nightlife is pressing him for 7th with Outlaws Buffalo Trimmer rounding out the top 10.